In today's video, we're going to talk about understanding toothaches, the basics of brushing and natural toothache remedies. Also, we will talk about causes of toothaches. Do you struggle with toothaches? How was your experience? Let us know in the comment below and subscribe to our channel. Understanding toothaches. As we all know, toothaches are the result of several different factors. The pain that stems from a toothache is always apparent, normally in the form of throbbing. The pain will normally intensify as time goes by, when you eat, lay down, or drink hot, cold liquids. Toothaches are very painful, and it may seem that no matter what you do, it seems to hurt more. Sometimes, toothaches can result from medical conditions and have nothing to do with dental. In most cases, if the problem goes without being checked, it can lead to serious trouble and maybe even become a life-threatening situation. Normally, when you have a toothache, you'll experience tremendous pain. The pain will stem from the affected tooth or the jaw, and you'll know it almost immediately. It will start out to be a throbbing pain, then continue to get worse and worse until you get it treated. If you wait too long and allow the infection to spread throughout the tooth, you'll end up having to get it pulled or cut out. Anytime you start to experience a toothache, you shouldn't hesitate to make an appointment with your dentist to have it checked. Even though you may be able to use certain products to stop the pain will always come back until you get the problem fixed. If you visit your dentist in time and he catches the problem early, he may be able to save your tooth. Normally, this will result in a filling, crown, or root canal, although you won't have to have the tooth removed. Dentists always look to save teeth, as they don't like to remove a tooth unless they absolutely have to. If the tooth has become obsessed, the dentist will put you on antibiotics such as penicillin until the infection has subsided enough to remove the tooth. Throughout our lives, most of us will experience the pain and agony of a toothache at some point. A toothache can be the worst pain you have ever felt in your life, especially if you are feeling the pain of an abscess. If you've never had a toothache, you should consider yourself lucky. Those who have had toothaches though. The basics of brushing and flossing are something we all learn at an early age. The proper way to brush your teeth takes less than 2 minutes. Most adults tend to spend less than a minute, which isn't enough. To get the right amount of time brushing, you should try using a stopwatch while you brush. When you brush your teeth, you should avoid using pressure but instead use short, gentle strokes. You should focus on hard-to-reach places, and make sure that you get the areas between your teeth as well. Make sure you get eating surfaces, along with your upper and lower gums. If you focus on all areas of your mouth, you'll get everything when you brush. Furthermore, we'll also need to use the right toothpaste as well. There are a variety of toothpastes available, designed to help you with a variety of different conditions. You can get toothpaste that will prevent toothaches, stop sensitivity, and prevent things such as tartar and gingivitis. Toothpaste is the best way to protect your teeth. Therefore, you should always ask your dentist what type of toothpaste he recommends for you. To get the most out of brushing, you'll need to have a good toothbrush. There are many different models to choose from. When you make your choice, you should look for brushes that have soft bristles. Soft bristles are easy on your gums, removing plaque and other debris from your teeth. A small head is also preferred, as it can easily reach hard-to-get places, such as your back teeth. You should also remember to replace your brush every couple of months, or when it starts to show signs of wear. If you've had a cold, you should replace your toothbrush, simply because the bristles can contain germs that could get you sick all over again. Toothbrushes that show wear should always be replaced, as they can have an impact on your gums. If the bristles start to get worn down, they can tear away at your gums, leading to sensitivity. Brushing your teeth will help keep them healthy, and prevent the buildup of plaque and tartar. Natural toothache remedies. Several herbs can be used in the relief of toothache pain. Natural herbs such as cloves, calendula, tarragon, and yarrow can be used to help relieve the pain until you can get to the dentist. For many years, different cultures have counted on herbs to help get the pain of a toothache control and get temporary relief. Native Americans, for example, used the inner bark found in the butternut tree to their gums to get relief from toothaches. The butternut tree is found in North America, and is also the cousin of the black walnut tree. Butternut trees are found along rivers in well-drained soil, rich woods, and even in backyards. Once the tree matures, it can reach heights of up to 60 feet, with the bark being light gray in color, and the leaves and the fruit resembling the black walnut tree. The bark of the tree can be applied to the gums, helping to alleviate toothache pain. Yarrow, on the other hand, can be found in Asia, Europe, and North America. It normally grows wild in meadows, fields, and in open woodlands. The root of yarrow is what contains the anesthetic effect. If you apply the fresh root of yarrow to your tooth or gums, it will help to stop the pain, until you can get an appointment with the dentist and get it taken care of. The herb known as clove is an evergreen tree, native to tropical areas. These days, however, it can be found throughout the world. As many already know, the dried flower bud of clove is what contains the medicine. The oil from clove, when used on a toothache, will help to stop the pain almost immediately. If you compare cloves to other natural toothache remedies, you'll find clove to be the best. The next time you experience the pain of a toothache, you should always remember that herbs are a great way to relieve the pain. Causes of toothaches. There are many different things that can cause a toothache. A toothache can come at any given time. The pain can be unbearable at times, and you'll do practically anything you can to make the pain stop. When a toothache first comes on, many of us start to wonder what caused it to happen. Some of the main causes of toothaches include decay, a fracture in the teeth, and cavities. A crack in the tooth is also a cause, although it can be difficult to diagnose, as cracks will normally appear to be invisible to the naked eye in X-rays. Cracks can make your tooth feel as if it is exploding, as they expose the dentin and nerves to the air and anything else you put in your mouth. If you don't get them fixed, they will get worse, possibly leading to your tooth breaking off at the gums. Pulp irritation is another cause of toothaches, as it occurs after dental treatment. No matter how well your filling or crown was done, the materials that were used to fix the tooth can end up causing pain later on down the road. There really is nothing you can do, as crowns can sometimes come off or the filling can sometimes come out. If this happens, all you can really do is go back to the dentist to get the problem fixed. If you have an exposed root or nerve, it can also be the cause of your toothache. This normally happens due to rough brushing, receding the gums and exposing the root. If the root is exposed, the air or liquid you drink can trigger a toothache. To prevent this from happening, use care when you brush and never try to tear your gums apart thinking it will get your teeth cleaner. If you use tobacco products, you'll more than likely get toothaches on a frequent basis. Chewing tobacco is a common contributor to toothaches and tooth pain, as the tobacco will eat away at your teeth until there is nothing left. It doesn't take long for it to happen either, especially if you have been chewing for a long time. Smoking can trigger toothaches as well, as the smoke is bad for your teeth and eats away at them as well. Even though there are many causes to toothaches, there are things you can do to stop pain and prevent toothaches. You should always brush your teeth on a daily basis, and go to the dentist for your regular checkups. If you get a toothache, you should always go to the dentist and get the tooth fixed. The dentist may be able to catch it early enough to save the tooth, which will prevent you from having to get it pulled and save you a lot of money and pain in the long run. At how to enhance your bodybuilding diet with quality high protein. If you are getting into bodybuilding, then you need to understand that what you eat is just as important as what you exercise. In other words, you can lift as many weights as you like, but if your muscles are not getting the fuel they need to grow, you are wasting a great deal of effort. Protein is a must for bodybuilders. With just a little research into an effective bodybuilding diet, you will quickly discover that enough protein is one of the most, some say the most, important parts of your nutritional intake. In short, protein is the building block of lean muscle. A lack of protein means your muscle building potential is much lower. There are many opinions on how much protein your body needs each day, and it may depend on your bodybuilding goals. Typically, you might consider taking around 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight each day. Check the food's nutritional info before you buy. There are plenty of foods in your local supermarket or grocery store that contain a useful amount of protein. Today's regulations that ensure food product manufacturers display the nutritional content of their product make choosing your groceries a breeze. However, before you go running off to buy every high-protein food you can find, a certain amount of care must be taken. Take the time to read through the food's nutritional information table in its entirety. Not only are you looking out for the protein content, but you also need to consider fat content, sugar content, carbohydrates, and so on. If your goal is to grow lean muscle, then it is a good idea to avoid too many products high in simple sugars, calories, and refined carbohydrates. Recommended quality protein sources for your shopping list. You are now ready to hit the supermarket in search of quality protein food sources. These are foods that are high in protein but not so high in other elements that will hinder your lean muscle targets. Meats. If you enjoy eating meat, then generally 3 meats are recommended. Chicken. Chicken is very lean and cheap. Similarly, turkey is actually slightly leaner than chicken and has higher protein percentage. Soy. The vegetarians amongst you will no doubt be aware of the protein content of soy products. Soybeans are pulses, and so they contain a good helping of protein. Soybeans are used to make soy milk, tofu, and many meat substitutes, many of which taste like the real thing. This not only helps vegetarian bodybuilders but also people with a lower tolerance for dairy products. Milk, dairy. Skimmed, or fat-free, milk is another good source of quality protein and can be consumed as it is or in so many dairy foods. You need to take care with which dairy products you choose, but there are always options for the dieting conscious. You can eat fat-free versions of your favorite yogurts, ice creams, cheeses, cottage cheese is always highly recommended, and more. Eggs. Raw or cooked, eggs are another staple in a lot of bodybuilders' diets. Many people will avoid the yolk of the egg and simply eat the white, discarding some quality protein. It's true that the yolk of an egg contains most of the calories, but it also contains most of the egg's nutrients as well as some protein. Fish. Fish is an important source of protein, and many bodybuilders live off cans of tuna. And more. There are plenty of other foods high in protein such as nuts, pulses, cereals, and so on. Take some time to research other foods on the internet. There is a massive amount of information on websites, forums, newsletters, and so on. Is protein all I need to focus on? No. Protein, although a vital part of a bodybuilder's diet, is not the be-all and end-all. Bodybuilders also need the energy to physically perform their exercises, and this comes mostly from carbohydrates, or more specifically, complex carbohydrates. What we should be eating and what we should not eat. The food we eat keeps our bodies in good shape and working efficiently. It provides energy, strengthens our immune system, and improves our minds. Although many people shun fat and meat, it has been established that they are of great importance to the brain, and this fact must be carefully considered. There are still many misconceptions about nutrition. Nutrition affects not only the condition of our bodies, but also, and perhaps more importantly, our minds. Vitamins help to lose weight. Enzymes burn fat. Weight gain is due to fatty foods, so diet foods are the solution. Obesity is connected only to food, and so on. Instead of relying on oversimplified generalizations, it is important to devise a moderate diet from all food groups, including proteins and animal products, because they remove toxins from the intestines and supply the body with natural vitamins and minerals. It is good to eat in small amounts, but often, perhaps 4 to 5 times a day, since this way of eating reduces the chance of plaque production in the blood and prevents it from storing it in the internal organs and arteries. It is established that most physical ailments, especially the leading cause of death, the heart attack, are caused by improper nutrition. According to Dutch medical specialists, people who gain a significant amount of weight after the age of 35 to 40 shorten their lives by approximately 7 years. Also, if a 40-year-old woman smokes and is overweight, she will live, on average, 13.3 years less than a non-smoking woman of standard weight. When we speak of proper nutrition, it is imperative that we associate it with long life. Quality of life in old age is not about turning back the clock to maintain an artificial extension or replay of youth, but rather, to increase longevity and make life healthier, happier, and more fulfilling within the limitations of age. It is no coincidence that the Japanese boast the best nutrition among their population. and their average lifespan is 82.5 years for women and 76.2 years for men. Suitable combinations of carbohydrates, proteins and fat directly affect brain activity, and consequently, influence our intellectual abilities. Carbohydrates feed the brain, proteins slow down the carbohydrate absorption rate, and fat aids in the production of the hormones that make us happy and also assists in balancing the nutritive chemicals in the bloodstream. In addition to the main food categories, trace amounts of specific elements and minerals can have a profound influence on health. For example, the selenium contained in dairy products alleviates stress and is a very good defense against aging. Is it possible to become happier through proper nutrition? Most definitely the answer is yes. The human brain is composed of and maintained by a certain number of building blocks, supplied through nutrition. The brain requires fat, amino acids and proteins to sustain its solid structure. When these substances are missing or insufficient, the brain loses functional efficiency, which in turn causes accelerated aging. Do not avoid fat altogether for fear it may clog arteries. On the contrary, certain fats, such as those found in olive or sunflower oil, cod liver oil, almonds, peanuts and walnuts, are valuable and essential. It is these fats that structure the nerve cells in the brain. The limiting of fat should be closely monitored, so that it does not damage brain function. Proteins are also of significant importance. Enzymes, which allow cells to receive messages, and some neuromeridians, are actually proteins in different proportions composed of amino acids in the food. The conclusion is that the brain needs proteins to stimulate proper activity. Meat, eggs and dairy products supply the required animal proteins to the human body. It has been proven that a lack of vitamin B9 is the chief contributor to memory loss during the aging process, and that the liver supports and strengthens the memory. Vitamin B9 is contained in whole grains, egg yolks, beans, walnuts and spinach. If we add vitamins B6 and B12, contained in fish and meat, we create a healthy blend that guarantees us optimum memory strength. The ancient Roman physician Galen recommended walnuts for stimulating brain activity. His suggestion was based on the ancient theory that body organs should be treated with foods that resemble them. And the walnut, with its convoluted surface, does indeed resemble the folds of the human brain. Modern medicine confirms that walnuts stimulate intellectual ability, help prevent tumors and heart disease, and lower bad cholesterol. That's why it is important to consume no less than 1 ounce of walnuts per day, at least 3 times a week. Vitamin E, which is just one valuable constituent of olives, walnuts as well as other foods, protects the biological membranes from aging. Broccoli, peppers, cabbage, lemons, oranges and other products containing vitamin C have a direct influence on the blood circulation in the brain. And in order to prevent the reduction of red blood cells, which supply oxygen to the brain, we need to include iron-rich foods in our diet. Additional research showed lower IQ scores among young, vegetarian girls, in contrast with girls of the same age who enjoyed a balanced diet. The bread, pasta food group, particularly whole grain and multi-grain, is perfect fuel for the brain, and the lack of rice, lentil and glucose causes hypoglycemia and dulls brain function. Carbohydrates are the best energy source for our body, since they digest slowly, are absorbed into our system in small amounts, and feed the brain longer. We have all been taught since grade school that water is of extreme importance to the human body. We may be able to live without food for 2 to 3 weeks, but no more than 3 days without water. Indeed, water represents 70% of a human's body mass. Every one of us loses around half a gallon of water daily, an amount that needs to be replenished. Some of the water we receive through the food we eat, but the majority simply has to be drunk. If this does not happen, the result is dehydration and cellulite, including aging. Besides pure, uncontaminated water, fruit juices and teas are not only useful, but necessary as well. According to scientists, the decrease of water in the body blocks the biofilters and causes different pathologies and subsequently aging. We cannot disagree with the fact that rational and proper nutrition will improve our health, make us more joyful, smarter and prettier, extend our lifespan, and ultimately, stimulate our inner being and help us achieve absolute happiness. Eat healthy and be free from anxiety. Everyone experiences anxiety, even children. In fact, being unable to do so can be the sign of quite a serious problem. In our hazardous world, anxiety is a strategy that the body uses to help the mind recognize and keep well out of the way of danger. As with most mental illnesses, it's not the presence of anxiety alone that creates problems. It is more about how severe it is and how much it gets in the way of life. Most people feel anxious at some time in their lives. However, about 5% of people experience severe anxiety but rarely seek professional help. Anxiety is a mixture of physical and mental symptoms. They are part of what psychologists call the fight or flight response. When the body is under threat, it automatically prepares either to defend itself or run. Anxiety is a normal reaction to stress. It helps one deal with a tense situation in the office, study harder for an exam, keep focused on an important speech. In general, it helps one cope. But when anxiety becomes an excessive, irrational dread of everyday situations, it can become a disabling disorder. Effective treatments for anxiety disorders are available, and research is yielding new and improved therapies that can help most people cope with anxiety disorders lead productive and fulfilling lives. However, studies have shown that having a healthy diet may reduce signs and symptoms of anxiety. Although food can't cure an anxiety disorder, consider some changes to your diet. Avoid or limit caffeine intake as much as possible. Caffeine is present in many soft drinks, not just tea and coffee, and it can set up its own vicious cycle. Caffeine can speed up heart rate and disrupt sleep, which are signs of anxiety. Trying to overcome tiredness by drinking more caffeine only makes the long-term problems worse. Avoid too much alcohol. Similarly, alcohol can worsen the symptoms of anxiety and disrupt sleep. Many people reach for a drink to calm their nerves. But the consequences of overindulgence can outweigh the benefits of initial relaxation. For some, a hangover, insomnia and dehydration make one feel worse than before one had a drink. And the depressants in alcohol can make you feel sluggish and anxious. Alcohol, like a simple sugar, is rapidly absorbed by the body. Like other sugars, alcohol increases hypoglycemia symptoms. Excessive use can increase anxiety and mood swings. During anxious times, turn to comforting carbs. These foods act as a mild tranquilizer by increasing the amount of serotonin, a calming neurotransmitter, in the brain. Complex carbs, such as potatoes, whole wheat bread and pasta, take longer to digest than sugary simple carbs like white bread, so one can stay fuller longer and blood sugar is likely to stay steady, eliminating stress and anxiety. Carbohydrate-rich meals and snacks are thought to increase the amount of serotonin in the brain, which has a calming effect. Be sure to drink 8 or more glasses of water a day. Dehydration can lead to fatigue, headaches and stress. One should be well hydrated, and drinking lots of water a day can decrease symptoms of anxiety. Take multivitamins and mineral supplement. B vitamins, whose role is to unlock the energy in food, are crucial, particularly B6, which helps manufacture serotonin in the brain. Choose a daily supplement that supplies 100% of the daily recommendation of all vitamins and minerals. Although tension and daily stresses are unavoidable, one can relieve tension and manage stress and anxiety better by what a person do and don't eat. The definition of kidney stones and its causes and remedies. Kidney stones are probably the most common complication among people when it comes to their kidney, ureter, and bladder. This is because many people are prone to it due to its unhealthy diet and laid-back living. Experts say that any person has great chances of encountering kidney stones in one point of his or her life. But, with early diagnosis, healthy lifestyle, diet to prevent the condition, and regular exercise, one can recover from it. However, recovering might be easy, but if people would not religiously follow the keys to avoiding kidney stones, chances are they will have it again, probably in the next 10 or 15 years of his or her life. People tend to neglect kidney stones because they think that they can easily recover from it. One thing that they don't realize is that if they continue to have their kidney stones unchecked or undiagnosed, they are more prone to develop related diseases which will make their health conditions more complicated. To avoid further complications, it is best that you arm yourself with all the knowledge that you can get. Knowledge is power. The first thing that you need to know about kidney stones is what it really is. Kidney stones are made up of minerals and other excess substances in body. It is the product when these substances and minerals are formed in the person's urine. The process of developing kidney stones involved the crystallization of minerals and other related substances then form lumps, which can be hard as a real stone. Mostly, kidney stones can be very tiny when they initially form but can grow, as it remains undiagnosed. Kidney stones can grow in size up to a quarter inch or even larger. People who have kidney stones should focus on where it is located, because it can cause the kidney and other related organs not to function very well. Doctors agree that kidney stones that sit in the kidney itself are not much of a problem. But if it's located at the ureter, the tube that connects to the bladder, it is a very big problem. This is because the stone can block the path where the urine should pass. When this happens, it will cause the person a great deal of pain because it will stretch the kidney so much. The pressure caused by this stretching can build up and can even result to other related symptoms such as blood in the urine or hematuria, nausea, vomiting, and slight fever or chills, especially if there's already an infection. Experts say that there are a number of factors that may cause the development of kidney stones. These factors may include the urinary tract infections, UTI, that the person has developed, kidney failure, diseases that may have been inherited that involves the kidney, foods that contain high levels of calcium, sodium, oxalates, and others, as well as lack of regular movement or exercise. Useful tips on how to avoid kidney stones. 1. Drink lots of water. Drink sizable amounts of water can definitely help you avoid kidney stones. When there is enough water on your body, you can eliminate wastes from the body. Experts say that 2 liters of urine will keep people away from kidney stones. So you need to drink at least 8 glasses. 2. Do diet modification. This diet modification should involve fiber, protein, calcium, and sodium. By increasing fiber intake and decreasing protein intake during your meals, there are greater chances of being spared from kidney stones. Because when you eat a meal that is high fiber, you lessen the risks of developing kidney stones because it aids good digestion and other functions of the kidney. If you continue to have high intake of protein, chances are, you will develop uric acid stones, which are caused by having too much protein in meals servings. People who are prone to kidney stones should also decrease the amounts of calcium in their diets. In fact, having moderate intake of calcium is a simple yet very effective means of staying safe from kidney stones because it reduces the chances of developing the most common type of kidney stones, the calcium oxalate. Cutting down sodium intake is also a must because you lessen the risks of developing kidney stones easily. Experts advise that people who are prone to kidney stones should only consume less than 1,500 milligrams every day. 3. Stay fit and active. Having a fit body can keep you safe from the pangs of kidney stones. Being active can prevent development of kidney stones. How? When people are into regular exercise or physical routine, they develop a good sense of discipline, which can lead them to healthy habits. Once this discipline is achieved through exercise, nothing will serve as a hindrance in maintaining healthy lifestyle. 4. Listen to what your body says. They must understand that as their bodies grow older, there are some functions that tend to go slower, such as those of the kidney. So people must know when to listen to what their body says. It means that if they feel something bad, they should always be open to the possibility that they might be suffering from something. Indeed, the best way to listen to what the body says is by scheduling a checkup with a physician to do an overall checking. Maintaining an active, health-conscious lifestyle is the best thing you can do to make sure your kidneys stay healthy. You should also work closely with your doctor to watch for signs of loss of kidney function. At stress and work-life balance. Technically, stress is the adverse reaction on an individual that has to face excessive pressure or other types of demand placed on them. In the workplace, the negative, damaging effects of stress can arise at times when pressures are extreme, such as peak busy periods, but equally can be caused by continuous exposure to stressful conditions, such as being in an unsuitable job or being treated unfairly. Outside work, negative stress can be caused by major change events, such as a death in the family, but equally by continuous pressure of having a life constrained or dominated by the work situation. Stress is personal in that stress affects individuals in different ways. In similar situations or conditions, some people cope, even thrive, on the pressure, whilst others find it difficult to cope and suffer negative stress as a result. It is also personal in the sense that the amount of control that the individual has over their workplace conditions, events, and work-life balance will influence the amount of negative stress that they suffer from. Those individuals with greater control will tolerate and manage stress levels, or avoid them altogether, more successfully. Work-life balance is, literally, balancing the demands, the amount of time and effort given to work and the workplace, and that given to the individual's domestic, personal, family, and social life. A vital factor in achieving an appropriate work-life balance is ensuring that the work element does not dominate, and/or that it is not causing damage to the individual through the effects of negative stress. It is most unusual to find people with a work-life balance that is dominated negatively by their life outside the workplace. It is almost always the workplace activity that dominates, and often negatively. For professionals undertaking personal and career development activities, the positive activity of personal development must be actively managed in order to ensure that it does not have a negative effect on stress levels and cause damage to the individual's work-life balance. The increased awareness of the importance of managing stress and work-life balance effectively has given rise to approaches such as time management, managing stress, achieving work-life balance, managing personal development, and related approaches such as coaching and mentoring. The tools and techniques within these approaches are valuable in helping individuals to manage stress and work-life balance more successfully. All of these are worth exploring in more depth. However, here we will focus on simple, well-established actions that any individual can take themselves. There are some well-established, simple to implement, approaches that will help to reduce the effects of negative stress and help to maintain an appropriate work-life balance. Commonly experienced under stress symptoms are poor health, headaches, upset stomach, sleep problems, change in appetite, tense muscles, indigestion, intestinal and skin problems, heart attacks, constantly worrying, irritated, feeling depressed, unable to cope and make decisions, being less creative, excessive smoking, excessive use of alcohol, not sleeping, low job satisfaction, poor relationships with colleagues, focusing on unproductive tasks, deadlines missed, performance level falling, opportunities missed, poor appraisal outcomes, feeling demotivated, stopping social activities, being irritated and argumentative with family and friends, personal relationships deteriorating. Many of these symptoms can be experienced in normal life, but become symptoms of stress when several are experienced at the same time, or when there is no obvious cause, or when one or more symptom becomes overwhelming. We need to remember, however, that whilst the symptoms often are more visible, and potentially damaging, in the workplace, they are not necessarily caused by workplace pressures. Many are, but not all and not always. Identifying the sources in the workplace. As individuals working in a business world that is continuously changing at an ever-increasing pace, we need to be adaptable and flexible. In order to avoid negative stress, we need to be aware of, prepared for, and able to manage the impact of time pressures, demanding deadlines, increasing complex relationships with others, peaks and troughs of too much or too little work, overlapping business or work changes, threats of redundancy or unwanted job change, pressure from senior managers, unfair or discriminatory actions of management, travel pressures, increases in performance expectations, more visible scrutiny through technology and surveillance, requirements to undertake continuous personal professional development activities. Identifying the sources in life outside work. Outside the workplace, there are regularly occurring events and pressures that are a normal part of our lives, but which can be either a source of stress, or satisfaction, or both. These include death of friend or family member, a relationship breakdown leading to separation or divorce, personal or family member injury, moving house, taking on large financial commitments such as for a mortgage, holiday periods where personal relationships are refreshed and renewed, or put under intense pressure, giving up a habit such as smoking, the birth of a child, getting married, and so on. Knowing what your natural response will be. Individuals adapt and adjust to external pressures in different ways, depending on their personality type. The range of types is very wide, but two broad bands of personality type have been identified. Type A people are described as competitive, aggressive, or hasty, whilst Type B people behave in a passive, non-competitive, slow-to-react way. Type A people tend to pass on stress to others. Type B tend to internalize the effects of stress. Whilst these are established, proven categories that most people fall into, other factors, such as age, gender, health, financial situation and access to support will strongly influence the response to causes of stress, regardless of personality traits. Knowing your personality type can be helpful, but can only play a small part in managing stress successfully. Identifying strategies and actions that will help you to cope. As we have seen, individuals react differently to stress, so each of us will need to adopt different coping strategies. The following are well-established, proven actions and strategies for managing stress and achieving work-life balance. Be aware of your own weakness and strengths. Understanding and accepting that certain things cannot be avoided or changed. Taking action to reduce or remove the pressure. Breaking down problems into smaller parts and setting targets to tackle each part in sequence. Implementing personal time management techniques. Replacing negative relationships with positive, supportive relationships. Adopting a healthy living style. Develop outside work interests, such as hobby, educational, social or sporting activity. Undertaking positive professional career development activity. Seeking advice and support from others, including professionals if appropriate. Accepting that managing stress and work-life balance is a permanent continuous activity. Some organizations have recognized that stress and work-life balance are issues that need to be supported by corporate action. Individuals in these organizations should, where appropriate, take advantage of support mechanisms such as 1. Flexible working hours. 2. Allowing employees to organize working hours to accommodate important aspects of their home lives. 3. Self-managed teams, where teams work out their own hours, responding to each other's needs, using a buddy system, pairing with a colleague to provide cover for each other, enabling each to take time off when necessary, knowing that their buddy will take over their duties and responsibilities. 4. Flexible locations, working from different locations, or from home, either regularly or occasionally, to help with family responsibilities and reduce or eliminate commuting time. Special leave availability, such as paid or unpaid leave, to give time to cope with personal crises and emergencies, without using formal holiday allowance. 5. Career breaks, for study or research sabbaticals, travel, family commitments, or voluntary work. 6. Health programs, offer counseling and advice, for a range of issues. 7. Private health insurance, fitness programs and gymnasium membership subsidies, childcare, eldercare facilities or subsidies, workplace nursery or subsidized places in local nurseries or nursing homes. All of these are highly valuable support opportunities, which, if available, should be taken when needed. For most managers and specialists, in all sectors of business today, it is an essential requirement that professionals undertake courses in management development, or in specialist disciplines such as quality management, project management, accountancy, human resources, or marketing. The objective of this activity, from the individual's point of view, is usually to obtain higher financial rewards, higher status, increased job security, and/or to increased opportunities and career choice. From the organization's point of view, it is rightly aimed at improving the knowledge, understanding, skills, and ultimately the performance of the individual and the workforce collectively. The impact on the individual, regardless of these contrasting objectives, is that work-life balance is affected, pressure will rise and will need to be managed to avoid this resulting in negative stress. For any individual undertaking professional development activity, especially those studying at home, in part or in full, it is essential that this is recognized as a potential source of negative stress, and that the individual builds the monitoring and control of this pressure into their development plans. In order to manage stress and to achieve a satisfactory work-life balance, it is necessary to avoid the most common pitfalls that professionals encounter. These include believing that suffering from stress is a weakness. It is not, but positive, corrective action is needed to redress the situation. Allowing yourself to suffer from stress in an out-of-balance work-life equilibrium, when simple, easy-to-apply solutions are at hand, is a weakness. Keeping stress to yourself is the best approach. It is not. All the evidence shows that seeking advice and support is the key to reducing and eliminating negative stress and restoring an appropriate work-life balance. Assuming that others are to blame for your stress and the imbalance between your work and your outside work life, They may be the causes, but you are responsible for allowing the negative situation to continue. Cutting back or eliminating social, sporting, or personal interests activity is the answer to restoring a work-life balance. It is not, because these are essential positive elements necessary to achieve a healthy work-life balance and a relatively stress-free life. Ignoring the warning signs, these are easy to identify. If not by you, then others will see them. Not identifying the sources of stress and reasons for imbalance. A simple analysis of your situation, perhaps with some help from a professional advisor, colleague, partner, or friend, will identify the main causes of your problems. Not looking after yourself in terms of health and happiness. If you are unhealthy, unfit, or in an unhappy relationship, or not in any relationship and are lonely and isolated, you will find it difficult to manage stress and your work-life balance effectively. Believing that there is a single solution to your negative stress and work-life imbalance problems, there is not. You need to take a holistic approach to managing your life, at work, at home, and socially. This encompasses your work, your aspirations, your personal development, your fitness, your lifestyle, your health, your relationships, your general attitude to life, everything that makes you an individual, a unique person. The solution to avoiding the negative effects of stress, and maintaining an appropriate work-life balance, when taking on additional personal development workload, are the same for those in organizations. You will need to be aware of the dangers, be alert to the symptoms, put in place defensive mechanisms, and then, proactively manage your work life and personal life in a way that protects you from the dangers of negative stress and enables you to maintain a healthy and satisfying work-life balance.
7 Tips for a Long and Healthy Life. As good as modern medical technology is, it can never save you from the problems caused by a lifestyle that is unhealthy. Instead of getting a modern medical fix for every problem, it is far better to live in such a way that you will hardly ever fall ill. An ounce of prevention is certainly better than a pound of cure. Here are 7 tips on how to live a long and healthy life. In addition, the same lifestyle that helps you to avoid illness also helps you to lose weight. 1. Get enough exercise. In the past, people had to use their physical bodies in the course of their normal work. But today someone may get up, go to work in a car, then sit down, get up to go home in the car, and when arriving at home, sit down again for the rest of the day. In such a life there is no physical labor. This physical inactivity is one of the main reasons for a host of diseases. Sport, running, walking and other things must be added to our life if our normal work does not require us to exert ourselves physically. 2. Go to sleep when you feel sleepy. This may sound simple, but many people stay up late even when their body is telling them that it is time to sleep. Yoga and Ayurvedic doctors also say that it is better to sleep in the night and be active during the day. However, people such as students will take coffee and stimulants to study late into the night. Others develop the habit of remaining active at night and sleeping during the day. While we can do this, it eventually takes a toll on health. Alternative health doctors say that this kind of unnatural living is one of the contributing factors in the causation of cancer and other diseases. 3. Eat when you feel hungry. This is also a simple idea, but once again we often go against the messages of the body. If you eat out of habit or due to social pressure at certain time of the day, even when you have no real appetite, then you will not digest your food properly. Acidity and indigestion begin, and this contributes to the likelihood of other more complex diseases taking root. Having an appetite is actually a sign of good health, but if you have no appetite you should wait a bit and then eat. If you have no appetite even after awaiting a reasonable amount of time, then you should consult a doctor because something is wrong. 4. Fast on a regular, systematic basis. If you would ask any person to work 365 days per year without any rest, they would complain and say that they must have some rest or else they will break down. But we have never bothered to ask or to think about our digestive organs which we compel to work day after day without a rest. They cannot protest the way a person would to his boss, but they do give us signals that they cannot work non-stop. When we ignore those signals and still compel them to work, those organs break down. That is why periodic fasting is necessary. Refrain from eating for one complete day. This gives a rest to your digestive organs and also helps in the elimination of wastes from your body. Regular fasting allows a person to gain extra time for intellectual or spiritual pursuits. Fasting is not for hermits in a cave, but is a sensible practice that anyone can practice. 5. Wash with cool water before going to bed. As mentioned above, proper sleep is essential for the maintenance of health. If you wash your important motor and sensory organs, hands, arms, eyes, legs, mouth, genitals, before sleep using cool water, this will relax you and prepare you for deep sleep. 6. Perform meditation on a regular basis. Your body is linked to your mind. Many of the diseases of this era are psychosomatic. Stress and anxiety take their toll on our physical health. Meditation is a mental exercise which, among other things, allows you to detach yourself from the worries of life. Learn the simple technique and do it regularly. 7. Get up early every day. Once again, the old proverb, early to bed, early to rise, makes a person healthy, wealthy and wise. I don't know if it will make you wealthy, but it will certainly make you healthy. Your body needs just enough sleep, not too much and not too little.
Liver foods that make your liver stronger and useful. Most people don't think about what foods are good for keeping their liver strong. But, if you have been discovering and using a diet that is good for your overall health, then, most likely you are helping your liver. So here again is a list of healthy eating that will result in a strong, useful liver. Oils. Use mostly olive oil for your food preparation. This oil can be heated to a relative medium level without causing free radicals. Use flaxseed oil or fish oil every day. Avoid margarine or any other artificial butter since their processing creates chemicals the liver cannot recognize as food. Use ghee, which doesn't require refrigeration, or raw butter. Sunflower, safflower, and other seed oils should be kept in the refrigerator to keep them from becoming rancid. When you eat too much fat, the fat accumulates in the liver. The liver is responsible for breaking down the fat and using it for energy. Accumulated fat in the liver can become rancid, producing free radicals that damage liver cells. Food. Try to buy and eat good organic food. Food that has been sprayed with pesticides is difficult to clean and these chemicals will get into your body as free radicals. Protein. Cut down on the amount of protein that you eat. Most of us only need about 2 to 3 ounces of protein, but if you do physical labor you need plenty more. The problem with more is some of this protein may not completely digest in our stomach and move into the colon. This undigested protein is decomposed by bad bacteria, creating toxic matter. These toxins can be absorbed into the blood and cause the liver extra work in detoxifying them. Sulfur foods, since the liver produces enzymes, which are used in every body chemical reaction, you can support this activity by eating foods such as Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cabbage, seeds and nuts. Vitamins, minerals, nutrients. The liver, just like all parts of the body, needs vitamins and minerals. Get these from fruits and vegetables or even fruit and vegetable juices. Ionic minerals, easily absorbed, can be purchased in bottles from Waterhouse and other brands. These ionic minerals can then be easily added to your juices without adding any unusual taste. Sugar. Limit. Reduce or eliminate the use of sugar since it interferes with enzyme activity throughout your body. Use fruits, whole grains, barley malt, rice syrup, dates, dried fruit, and honey. Lecithin. Use lecithin every day for the phosphatidylcholine (PC) that it provides. PC helps build the liver cell membranes, creating a healthier liver. Use lecithin in granules by adding them to salads and other liquid food preparations including smoothies. There you have it, a small list of foods to eat to help your liver give you long life. Most likely you are already eating some of these foods, and if so, then, it will be easy to add just one more good healthy.
What is diabetes? With diabetes such an epidemic today, it is essential that you know exactly what it is. Why? Well, to prevent getting diabetes yourself, that is. In layman terms, diabetes is the inability of the body to process sugars properly. When we eat or drink, our pancreas produces a hormone called insulin. Insulin is released into the blood and helps to regulate the amount of glucose in the bloodstream. Diabetes is a condition where this process does not function correctly. The reason why diabetes occurs is because no insulin is being produced and requires the sufferer to use insulin injections, or insulin is produced but the body becomes resistant to it. This renders the insulin ineffective. This is normally called type 2 diabetes and is rapidly becoming more common. The danger is that while diabetes is not immediately life-threatening, the long-term effects of high blood sugar can be damaging to one's health. Uncontrolled diabetes and prolonged high blood sugar levels can, in later life, cause problems to many organs including the kidneys, eyes, nerves and the heart. This may sound grim, however, controlling blood sugar by a combination of medicine, diet and exercise will vastly reduce the long-term complications. Recent research shows that 2 in every 100 people have diabetes. Alarmingly, half of these people do not even know they have it. Many people have diabetes without being aware of it because someone with diabetes looks no different from anyone else. How do you find out if you have diabetes? The simplest way to check if you have diabetes is to arrange a blood sugar check with your doctor. A tiny sample of blood, obtained by pricking a finger, is checked using a small electronic tester. A normal blood sugar level is generally between 72 to 126 mg per deciliter or 4 to 7 millimoles per liter. If the body is unable to keep the blood sugar level within these limits, then diabetes is diagnosed. Diagnosis of diabetes can occur out of the blue during a routine checkup, but more often it follows from the sufferer experiencing the symptoms of diabetes. These symptoms can be many or few, mild or severe depending on the individual. Common diabetes symptoms. Loss of weight. Glucose is the form of sugar which is the body's main fuel. Diabetics cannot process this properly, so it passes into the urine and out of the body. Less fuel means the body's reserve tissues are broken down to produce energy with a resultant loss in weight. Thirst. Often it seems no matter how much you drink, your mouth still feels dry. The problem is compounded before diabetes is diagnosed by sufferers drinking huge amounts of sugary drinks. Of course, this only increases the blood sugar level and leads to increased thirst. Urinating more often. Sufferers need to urinate often and pass large volumes each time. In addition, this symptom takes no account of time, so sleep is constantly disturbed by having to visit the bathroom during the night. It is a mistake to think this is caused by the increased thirst and drinking more. On the other hand, high sugar levels in the blood spill over into the urine, making it syrupy. To counteract this, water is drawn from the body, causing dehydration and therefore thirst. If you have experienced any of these symptoms, it does not necessarily follow that you are diabetic. However, it might be advisable to visit your doctor to be sure. If it does turn out that you have diabetes, please do not panic. It can come as a shock and it will mean some changes in your life. While it is incurable, it can be treated so the long-term complications are reduced or even eliminated. 7 steps on how to prevent diabetes. Diabetes is more prevalent than ever, and 95% of cases diagnosed are type 2 diabetes. Although for some the development of diabetes is inevitable, perhaps due to hereditary and other factors, for the vast majority it can be prevented by taking these 7 simple steps. Number 1. If you are overweight, you risk developing diabetes. Reduce the amount of food on your plate so you gradually eat less and start to lose weight. Drink a glass of plain water or a sugar-free drink before your meal to take the edge of any hunger pains. Number 2. Reduce the amount of fat you are eating. Grill or bake foods instead of frying. Use low-fat spreads and reduced fat meals. Number 3. Check the glycemic index of the food you are eating. Knowing what each food contains helps maintain your blood sugars, which in turn can prevent the full onset of diabetes. Number 4. Drink at least 8 glasses of water every day. If you keep a bottle of water with you and sip frequently, you'll be surprised how much you do drink throughout the day. Number 5. If you are feeling peckish, choose a healthy snack rather than a chocolate bar. Number 6. Use skimmed rather than full-fat milk in hot drinks. And finally, number 7. Exercise is good for health. But if you are not used to exercise, then start in moderation. 15 minutes gentle walking each day will ease you into a regular exercising pattern. All of these action points are also the ones that diabetics are advised to take. If you take them now, you might possibly prevent irreparable damage to your health. Treatment of diabetes. Nowadays, diabetes treatment has become a common disease among people. It is caused due to mismanagement of carbohydrate metabolism inside the body. Diabetes is identified with the excessive production of urine, hunger, thirst and excessive loss of weight, blurred vision, and delay in healing of skin, repeated infection, and excessive fatigue. Diabetes has got a serious issue of human health. It denotes sugar in blood and urine very excessively. So, when it comes to treatment of diabetes, the main concern should be given to control blood sugar, which is main cause of diabetes. Managing blood sugar is the stepping stone of this diabetes treatment program. To remove the complications of diabetes, one must take it seriously and adopt some good diet process or healthy exercise. Apart from doing so, some take insulin and any other type of medication program to be cured to some extent. Frequent testing of blood sugar can denote you how much you have improved on your part to manage suitable measure of sugar in blood. It is very important to learn the right range of glucose in blood unless and until you cannot have the idea about the complication you are facing about this disease. It depends on age, mainly such as in younger age, assuming not much complication, as there the suitable range of glucose is 80 to 120 mg per deciliter, and in older age it is 100–140 mg per deciliter. Diabetes program includes some specific self-treatments like having good and suitable diet, having proper exercise, maintaining healthy weight and medication. When it is about good and suitable diet, it does not make any suggestion to take all dull food which are not of your interest, rather it denotes to have more fruits, vegetables and grains. That means you should be conscious in taking the foods of high nutrition and lower fat and calories. Avoid taking sweets and animal products with no limit. The main part of this diabetes treatment program is that you own self should be challenging in this task, otherwise this program will be harder enough. Consult any dietitian about meal plan and try to maintain it at the fixed times every day with same amount according to your diet plan. On the part of having proper exercise, you should be cautious about all aerobic exercises. In this diabetes treatment program, you can make your choices among the daily exercises like doing morning or evening walk, jogging, hiking, biking, swimming and any other exercises of heart and lungs. Remember, giving consistency to your exercise process is very important to get the best result through it. Try to maintain weight according to your activity level and age, because overweight is a dangerous factor which help to make your cells more resistant to insulin. Making suitable weight loss plan and going according to that can make its result more effectively. Sometimes medication takes a very important role in case where it is found that good dieting and exercise are not fulfilling its purpose. This type of diabetes program includes the insert of insulin as per requirement. As it can't be taken in form of pill, some people have it injected by syringe or some have it with insulin pump. So now it is very clear that diabetes is always manageable if the sufferer give a serious daily attention to it. Although diabetes stands for lifelong suffering, yet it never means the end of your life. You just have to remember that the disease will be in your control only and only if you are self-disciplined for your each and every step of treatment program. How to eat the right way. When you think about weight loss, what do you think of first? Which aspects of weight loss are important? Which are essential? And which ones can you take or leave? You be the judge. Once you begin to move beyond basic background information, you begin to realize that there's more to weight loss than you may have first thought. It probably comes to you as naturally as breathing, the art of eating. However, you might never have been taught to eat well. This is critically important because, unless you learn to eat well, you may never master the art of dieting. In our society, certain inappropriate eating habits have become routine. By attacking these habits, you can increase the likelihood that you will actually lose weight. To begin with, it is important that you learn to eat slowly. At first, this might be quite a challenge. We have been conditioned to live in a fast food world. We rush meals in order to have time to run to soccer practice, to a piano recital, or to school and work. We think that rushing saves us time, but such a routine can easily backfire, leaving us with unwanted pounds. Studies have shown that at least 10 minutes is required before the brain receives the message that the stomach is full. This means that you could be eating long after you are actually satiated. Your meal, whether it's in the morning, afternoon, or evening, should last at least 10 minutes. Train yourself to lengthen your meal by engaging in conversation, resting your fork between courses, chewing slowly, and drinking plenty of water between courses. You should also wait at least 10 minutes after your main meal before deciding if you need dessert. Within that period of time, you may discover that you weren't really hungry after all. Another trick is to place serving dishes on the counter and leave them there. As a result, you'll actually have to get up out of your seat in order to get more food. You may decide that it's not worth the bother. Or you may find that you discover that you need no more food between courses. Also, do not eat directly from an ice cream carton, tortilla chip bag, or cracker box. Otherwise, you could find yourself easily overeating. You should always eat at the table. This prevents you from trying to engage in multitasking, such as surfing the net, watching television, or flipping through magazines while you eat. At the table, you'll be forced to concentrate on how much food you are putting into your mouth. If you eat anywhere else, you may lose track of how much food you're consuming. Abandon the idea that you must clean your plate. It is simply not true. Research has shown that more than half of adults insist on cleaning their plates, even when they are already full. This means that you are overeating simply out of politeness. Such a habit only serves to add unwanted pounds. Instead of cleaning your plate, try eating only that portion of food that makes you feel full. You'll be healthier and happier that way. Do not keep food in plain view during the day. If the cookie jar is open or the pretzel bag is out on the table, you'll have a tremendous urge to eat, even if you are not hungry. After a meal, put your food away in the refrigerator, inside your cupboard, or in the Lazy Susan. This way, you'll actually have to do some work to get at food before you consume it. If you happen to overeat, don't spend a great deal of time sulking. Accept your mistake and move on. If you've veered off course, take corrective action and forget about it. Otherwise, you could find yourself eating out of frustration, or going off your diet entirely. It's better to sabotage a single meal than a lifetime's worth of meals. You may be self-conscious at first as you attempt to change your eating habits. Realize that your bad habits did not start overnight, so it will take some time to correct them. While it may seem an arduous task initially, it is well worth the effort. You'll quickly find that your new eating habits have helped you to lose unwanted weight. Granted, such techniques as hiding your food and eating more slowly will not in themselves cause you to lose weight, but they will help you to curb your overeating over the long run. And you'll be a better person for it. Take time to consider the points presented above. What you learn may help you overcome your hesitation to take action. And that will be it for today. See you guys tomorrow with another exciting health tip video. Subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to receive instant updates on our videos.